صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آل محمد. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
الحمد لله الحمد لله الحمد لله رب العالمين. استغفر الله استغفر الله استغفر الله الذي لا اله الا هو الحي القيوم واتوب اليه. فاستغفر التوبه والمغفره والهدايه انه هو التواب الرحيم. واعف عنا يا كريم واعف عنا يا كريم واعف عنا يا كريم. واغفر لنا بفضلك يا رحمن يا رحيم يا ملك يا قدوس يا حافظ يا الله. الأول الله الآخر يا الله الظاهر يا الله الباطن يا الله خيره وشره من الله تعالى. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله الصلاة والسلام عليك يا رسول الله الصلاة والسلام عليك يا حبيب الله الصلاة والسلام عليك يا سيد الأولين والآخرين اشفع لنا يا شفيع المذنبين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين قال الله تعالى في كتاب العزيز أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إنا وجدته صادق نعم العبد إنها أوابا صدق الله العظيم. Allah Ta'ala says in the Quran Al-Kareem, surely we found Ayub patient, most excellent servant. Surely he ever turned to us. We just celebrated the sacrifice of Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam, who was ready to sacrifice his son. Allah Ta'ala tests us, not that He knows not who we are, but He wants to know us, to know who we are. All our lives, every minute, every second, sometimes we realize it, sometimes we do not. Often we fail, and seldom we do the right thing. He tests us with things which our egos hate. And He expects us to show patience. He tests us, not giving us things we want to have, taking away from us the things which we like. He lets upon us wild dogs of tyrants. He makes the weather cold or hot. But the greatest test, finally, is the test upon one's own well-being. Hazrat Ayub alayhi salam, Allah Ta'ala praised him to His angels with the words which I have mentioned in this ayah. The patience of Hazrat Ayub alayhi salam is really the hardest state in which one can find oneself to show patience. It is not poverty, it is not the aggression of the tyrants, it is not pain, it is not hunger. We need to show the greatest patience to follow our religion. Just to be able to do what has been rendered for us as farz and sunnah or voluntary prayers. If we were going to do them like Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam has said, do your prayers as you see me do it. If we fast as he fasted, if we prayed as he prayed, if we paid our zakat as he did, if we would wage jihad as he did, we do our prayers and fast during Ramadan and pay our zakat, but are they really truly the way that we should do it? And we need a great patience to be able to do it truly as it is supposed to be done. That already necessitates immense patience. Hazrat Ayub alayhi salam, he has achieved that state of perfect prayer, perfect devotion. But that is not his value. There are 1,000 things which we as Muslims have to do. And there are 1,000 things which we as Muslims are not supposed to be ordained by Allah Ta'ala. And Hazrat Ayub alayhi salam also perfected that perfect obedience. He was in constant prayer. He was in constant zikrullah. And Allah Ta'ala has sent His angels to surround him, to protect him from anything which may harm him. Shaitan al-Ain was envious of Ayub alayhi salam. He was envious of Ayub alayhi salam because some say that he was a jinn, some say that he was even an angel. And when Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam went to the Miraj, he passed through palaces of diamonds and rubies in ruin, and he asked, Ya Jibreel, whose palaces were those? Which beloved of Allah prayed in those palaces? The answer of Jibreel was, it was Haris. Haris in Arabic is ambitious. Shaitan al-Ain was called Haris, and he was ambitious for the approval of Allah Ta'ala, and he has prayed in this place 10,000 years, in that place in 10,000 years, and at the end, when he was ordered to bow in front of Adam alayhi salam, he disobeyed Allah Ta'ala because all this prayer made him arrogant. So what he could not achieve, and he was condemned till eternity, he asked Allah Ta'ala if he can tempt Ayub alayhi salam. Ayub alayhi salam was rich. He had innumerable sheep. At those days, the richness was in cattle and sheep. And Shaitan al-Ain came one day to the valley where thousands of sheep of Ayub alayhi salam were grazing. And he screamed such a scream that all the sheep fell dead. And he couldn't come close to Hazrat Ayub because he was circled by angels. And he said, Ya Ayub, all your prayers are not worth anything. Allah Ta'ala is angry at you, and He has killed all your sheep. You don't have a penny left to your name. Hazrat Ayub alayhi salam said, all glory to Allah Ta'ala, that I was charged to take care of all these ships which tied me to this world. They weren't my sheep, they were theirs. And He freed me from the charge which tied me to this world. As it didn't work, Shaitan al-Ain went to the house of Ayub alayhi salam, where he had his 9 beautiful daughters and his wife sleeping. He screamed such a scream that all their hearts stopped and they all died. And he came back to Hazrat Ayyub alayhi salam. He said, Ya Ayyub, your prayers are not worth a fly. Allah Ta'ala dislikes you and angry at you. He has killed all your daughters and your wife. He said, Allah is the giver of life and the taker of life. Indeed, he said that I had some love in my heart for my children and for my wife, which reduced my love to Allah Ta'ala. Within one heart that there should be only one love, and that of Allah Ta'ala. Now Allah Ta'ala has freed me to give all my love to Him. That didn't work either. And finally, Shaitan decided to attack Ayyub himself. But he couldn't come close to him because like a castle, he was surrounded by angels. So like a wild pig, he dug under the ground a tunnel. And as Ayyub alayhi salam was about to prostrate in his prayer, he stuck his head out and blew onto his face. Like 1,000 poisonous snakes did Ayyub alayhi salam. He swelled up, his body cracked, from the cracks, pus was oozing. But Allah Ta'ala afflicted only his flesh and fat. And in time, it became so terrible that he had holes coming from one side that you can see to the other side. The stink which came out from his pus was so horrible that people couldn't even come close to him. From far, they would say, Ya Ayyub, what is it that you got what Allah Ta'ala has done to you? Why is it that you are still praising Him? Because Allah Ta'ala has kept my heart intact to love Him, my mind to remember Him, and my tongue to praise Him. One day, as he was sitting in the sun because that comforted him, from one of the holes in his body, a worm crawled out and fell on the ground. Ayyub took the worm and put it back in the hole in his body. There was such an incredible pain which you cannot even imagine. He screamed and screamed from the pain. And then he begged Allah Ta'ala. He said, how is it that, look at me, in this case, I really don't have so much pain and that I get this pain. Ya Ayyub, he said, all the pain which you have had till now was from me. But that pain you caused to yourself. Know that whatever man makes on his own, without the approval of Allah Ta'ala, without the result of Allah Ta'ala, will certainly end up in pain and in repentance. But one day, for some reason or another, Allah Ta'ala says in the Quran Al-Kareem, some utterance came from the lips of Ayyub alayhi salam. Inni masarni ad-durru bi-sayf. He says, O Lord, I have been touched with pain. The only time that he complained, not like us complaining to the doctors, complaining to the lawyers, complaining to each other about him, but complaining to Allah Ta'ala, of Allah Ta'ala. All these thousands, hundreds of years, the ulama in Islam, the Waliullah, in Islam, they couldn't understand the patience of Ayyub alayhi salam with that complaint of Ayyub alayhi salam. Ma'ruf Karhi radiallahu anhu prayed and prayed and prayed to Allah Ta'ala. What and how could this unlikely thing could happen? And an answer came to him that when Ayyub was so sick and in such a terrible shape, that Allah Ta'ala's presence came to visit him daily, that he found such joys and such comfort in the presence of Allah Ta'ala, as he promises in Allah ma'as-sabirin with him, that in fear that one day that he was going to get better, that he was going to lose this closeness to Allah Ta'ala, he said, "Oh Lord, I have been touched with pain." But there is also another version. Hazrat Bayazid al-Islam prayed and prayed, and one day was able to talk to the spirit of Ayyub alayhi salam and asked him what was the meaning of his complaint to Allah of Allah. Ayyub said, "Please make attention." He said, all that time of distress, I have depended on my patience, as Allah Ta'ala asked us so many places in the Quran al-Kareem to be patient. But finally, although Allah Ta'ala said in Allah ma'as-sabirin, that I have found out that whatever you depend on in whatever situation in your life, except Allah Ta'ala, even your patience will become the last veil between you and Allah Ta'ala. We are not Ayyub alayhi salam. Patience is the key to paradise. The true worship is not just making our prayers and fasting and taking zakat and going to the Hajj. The true ibadat is to do what becomes hard for your ego to do. Ya Rabbi, the world has turned against Muslims. We ourselves have turned against each other. At every corner in this life, as Muslims, we find difficulties and enemies who mercilessly chase us, tyrannize us. Ya Rab, we are living at a time that all Muslims need patience. Ya Rabbi, bless Muslims with the patience. For with patience, we will be victorious over our enemies, even if we cannot destroy them, that our patience will be a castle around us that they cannot destroy us. Ya Rabbi, in our private lives, we also need patience. We need patience with things we lose, which we love. We need patience with sickness and pain and hunger. Ya Rabbi, give us the strength of patience. Amen. Amen. For the creator of all and everything, for the sustainer of all and everything, for the protector of all and everything, for the owner of all and everything, for the merciful Allah. Ya Rabbi, we cannot possibly count the blessings which you pour upon us at every breath in our lives. Yet we are never satisfied, and we want more, and we complain. Ya Rabbi, teach this Jum'ah thankfulness. Teach of Ummah Muhammad thankfulness. Teach thankfulness to all of humanity. And count us amongst the thankful servants. Ya Rabbi, you test us sometimes, never above our forbearance. Ya Rabbi, give us the forbearance to bear your tests. You test us with little pain, little hunger, little poverty, taking away things from us which in reality are not ours but yours in the first place. And we never show patience. Yet, Ya Rabbi, you have taught us, if we are poor with patience, we will become rich. Even if we do not become rich materially, that we will have the contentment and the tawakkul, which is much better than riches. Ya Rabbi, teach this Jamaat patience. Amen. Teach all of Ummah Muhammad patience. Amen. Teach all humanity patience. Amen. And count us amongst your patient servants. Amen. Ya Wahid, Ya Had, Ya Wahid, Ya Had, you have created us one by one. And your beloved tells us that his ummah is a single being, that if its finger aches, the whole body aches. There are 1.5 billion of us. We are 1.5 billion pieces. Like a broken mirror, we are spread all over the world, not knowing each other, not caring for each other, indeed, even hating each other and killing each other. Ya Wahid, Ya Had, you say, hold on to the rope of the Quran and stay together. Ya Rabbi, Ya Wahid, Ya Had, recreate the unity amongst the Ummah Muhammad. Ya Rabbi, recreate the togetherness amongst the Ummah Muhammad. And give us back the strength and the wisdom and the beauty which was once ours. Ameen. Bihurmati Sayyidina Nursaleen, Kaha wa Yasin. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد المغفرة الملوان فتحقق الغساران فكرر الجديدان فاستقبل الفرقدان فبارك وروحه وأرواح أهل بيته من التحيات والسلام وبارك وسلم عليه كثيرا 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 وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى جميع الأنبياء والمرسلين والأنبياء والصالحين وعلى ملائكتك والمقربين وعلى أهل طاعتك أجمعين من أهل السماوات وأهل الأرضين ورضوان الله تعالى على آل رسول الله وأصحابه أجمعين آمين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
ولا يوم العرض في هذا المقام ينبغي إلا إليك أستغفرك وأتوب إليك استقيموا واعتدلوا وارجوا من الله بقلوبكم وسألوه من رحمته Raising your minds, stand up foot to foot and shoulder to shoulder. Yes. Face Allah with your heart. Ask Him from His mercy. Allah. Allahu Akbar.
الله أكبر
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين الله الذي خلقكم ثم رزقكم ثم يميتكم ثم يحييكم هل من شركائكم من يفعل من ذلكم من شيء سبحانه وتعالى عما يشركون ظهر الفساد في البر والبحر بما كسبت أيدي الناس ليذيقهم بعض الذي عملوا لعلهم يرجعون قل سيروا في الأرض فانظروا كيف كان عاقبة الذين من قبل كان أكثرهم مشركين فأقم وجهك للدين القيم من قبل أن يأتي يوم لا مرد له من الله يومئذ يصدعون ومن كفر فعليه كفره ومن عمل صالحا فلأنفسهم يمهدون. الله أكبر
الله أكبر.
سبوح القدوس سبحانه. سمع الله
ربنا لك الحمد.
الله
الله أكبر.
الله
أكبر.
الله أكبر.
الله أكبر.
الله أكبر.
الله أكبر.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. واذكر عبدنا أيوب إذ نادى ربه أني مسني الشيطان بنصب وعذاب اركض برجلك هذا مغتسل بارد وشراب وآتيناه أهله ومثلهم معهم رحمة منا وذكرى لأولي الألباب. وخذ بيدك ضغثا فاضرب به ولا تحنث إنا وجدناه صابرا نعم العبد إنه أواب. الله أكبر.
الله أكبر.
سمع الله
ربنا لك الحمد.
الله أكبر.
الله أكبر.
الله أكبر.
الله أكبر.
الله
أكبر.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
السلام عليكم